world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome to a brand new season of the IP Squad. Of course, we're investigating a whole new franchise, in a way. Certainly an intellectual property, though, that Hollywood can't seem to let go of. We're talking about King Arthur movies. Now, as always, and I've said this before, there are rules about every season of the IP Squad to keep these things from turning into hundreds of episodes. But first, I'll introduce my partner for this investigation. It's Kinsey Campbell.
Hey.
Kinsey, you
Happy to be here.
You were on last season for the Sonic the Hedgehog episode, but this is the one we've been talking about doing because you are a fairly big fan of the Arthurian legends.
I was very into Arthurian legend stuff when I was in college because I was watching the show Merlin.
Right.
And found King Arthur stuff interesting and took a Arthurian legend class, literature class, and then like medieval women writers, and just got really into that time period for a period of time.
But interestingly, you haven't really seen a lot of the film adaptations of King Arthur.
No, not. I mean, I've seen probably the newer ones.
Right.
Less of the older ones.
Yeah. So to give people a sense of the rules we're talking about, we're doing just movies focusing on King Arthur specifically as a character. Because if we got into Arthurian legends in general, then we have to include things about Gawain or Galahad or all of that kind of stuff. We'd have to do. I mean, lots and lots of stuff, Merlin-based stuff, and we're also focusing specifically on theatrically released movies, or at least I should say, not television movies. We may do a couple of limited release and or straight to video movies, but not we're not doing anything for television. Just because, once again, there's a billion things in the Arthur sphere.
There's a lot.
But we're sort of focusing on what I would say are movies that focus on specifically the Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere triangle, which is, sort of your key King Arthur story.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always interested in Guinevere and the different ways that she gets portrayed in things, and my final project in that Arthurian legend class was on Guinevere and sort of her changing role in Arthurian legend entertainment, because she can be quite different depending on
that's an interesting
what
thing
you're watching
about King Arthur in general, and you and I were talking about this yesterday when we were watching this movie that we're talking about on this episode, that one of the things that's interesting about King Arthur as opposed to other things we've done seasons about here on the IP Squad is there's not a text. There is not a singular thing that people, even when I do the Meet the Monsters episodes, right, there is Dracula by Bram Stoker. So even if you're doing a take on it, you're reacting to a singular work. And same thing with a lot of the pulp characters, same thing with Sherlock Holmes. But in the case of King Arthur, it really is legend. So there's all these different takes on it, and people can point to things like Once and Future King. There are sort of texts certain people may consider definitive. But there's really, you're sort of dealing with just like a pool of things.
There's a lot you can pull from.
So that's...
I mean, probably most people know Once and Future King because it's what you read in high school.
Right.
That's sort of the the big one that a lot of people read. But no, there's so many things that you can draw from, and so you get all these different versions of it because people pull from that or change this or change that. And
so it's an interesting thing when you talk about what is a faithful King Arthur story. Like, what are you being faithful to then by that?
That gets complicated.
It's almost more like, and I was saying this, it's almost more like superheroes in some ways, where different authors have interpreted them differently over the years, and certain things have just stuck. So there's sort of core tenets and characters and story arcs that you see continue through version after version after version. But I mean, Robin Hood is much the same way, and I've definitely how to tackle a Robin Hood season has been something I've thought about too, because that's a similar. There's a billion of them. King Arthur and Robin Hood are, and I if you're playing the drinking game of IP Squad, go ahead and drink, because I'm about to mention Patrick Willems, who I mention a lot on here. But he had a great episode about why does Hollywood keep coming back to Robin Hood and King Arthur?
I mean, they do it all the time. There's movies, there's TV shows.
I think the answer is simply
they're doing a new Robin Hood show.
They're doing a new Robin Hood show. They're doing a new Robin Hood movie. Hugh Jackman is doing an elderly Robin Hood movie.
So we're
Zack Snyder has been talking about doing a new King Arthur movie for years. There's always talk about it. And I think the answer really is, in the parlance of this show, it is almost globally recognized IP, both of them, and they're free.
Absolutely.
They're public domain, right? No one owns the rights to them.
That helps a lot. People like free.
Yeah, but the
nice price.
But the idea is you can pretty much go anywhere and say King Arthur, and people are like, "Oh yeah," and would know, once again, probably then Lancelot, Guinevere, Merlin, Excalibur, maybe Morgan Le Fay. I mean, like you people have a cursory glance. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's not a historical figure. There was, as far as I know, there is no real King Arthur. There are people point to as possible influences and things like that, but
and that would be similar, obviously, with Robin Hood. There's people
that guy is probably
people were doing similar things in that time period.
There were highwaymen and stuff like that, and bandits and things in that era that you could point to and say possibly that was the real Robin Hood, quote unquote. Anyway, but let's talk about, we're starting things off. Kinsey, you're lucky enough to be here for, I believe, well, no, actually that's not true anymore, because it is at this point true. Sorry, I'm recording a couple seasons at once. At this point, as of the release of this is the earliest film we've covered on the IP Squad.
Oh wow!
1950. You beat Prince Valiant by a year. We did 1954's Prince Valiant in the Pulp Hero season.
So got to move from
this. I will just say, to give I'll reveal at the end of the season what we're doing. But because I'm already recording some of next season, this is going to be beat pretty quickly next season, because we're going into the 30s with something over there.
As of right now, I have it.
You have it indeed. So this is 1953's Knights of the Round Table from the fine folks at MGM. Did you know anything about this movie before we started watching it?
I did not.
Okay.
I think I'd looked it up and seen the cast, but I did not know much about this. Most of my knowledge of 1950s movies is rom-coms, as I've seen a lot of those, but not a lot of these big
this is
epic movies that they were doing in the 50s.
This is definitely in the sort of swashbuckler vein, one would say, of the there were a lot of, this was a big I was saying this to you before, that it's interesting to keep in mind that this was like a blockbuster back then. This would have been like a big event movie, which I know, which is funny to people now if you watch it, because this is a very subdued movie.
It is. I thought there'd be a little bit more going on in it. It is definitely a slower paced.
I will say it's interesting. I started here because I would say this is the first big version of King Arthur that I could find on film, but I will say it is also, this is, according to the people, based on Le Mort d'Arthur, which is sort of another one of those texts that some people consider definitive, right?
Yes, that would be another big one.
Because that comes out of the medieval era itself. By Thomas Mallory. And I would say this is actually a kind of a good place to start, because I would say one of the things that makes this movie so subdued is it really is just playing the beats of what the classic Arthur story is. But
you get most of them.
But with no takes or fanfare or style, it is just, here is this part, here is this part, here is this part.
Yeah, I think I said we were watching it really felt like a play.
Yeah, it is just
we're going to be performing this part of the Arthurian legend now.
But and
then we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, I mean it almost would be sort of a educational text in some ways, right? Because you are just kind of going here is the part of the thing, and it's all very competently done, and for its time, sure. It's a handsomely made picture.
It's very bright. It's very colorful.
This was the first MGM movie to be released in CinemaScope.
They do make it very clear that it's in CinemaScope.
It is, yeah.
And I could see how, if you were in the 50s and you saw this up on a screen, it would be very pretty to look at.
It's in CinemaScope. It's color from Technicolor. I mean, you're talking about, the big... Because 1953 is the introduction of CinemaScope. What we would now call CinemaScope, we would say, it invented what we would think of as a widescreen film.
And this, they have big, wide battle sequences with all the horses.
I would say this is indicative of a lot of the CinemaScope epics of this era. It's a thing about look at how many people are in the frame. We talked about this once again. If you listen to our Prince Valiant episode from the Pulp and Comic Strip Heroes season, we talked about the very similar look, vibe, scale in that movie as well. I think I like this movie more than the Prince Valiant movie, but it's got a lot of the same stuff going on. I do want to talk about the director Richard Thorpe, who was kind of a journeyman guy. Interestingly enough, he was the original director of 1939's The Wizard of Oz, but was fired 2 weeks into shooting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was he causing problems?
It was the studio felt
a big one to get fired from.
The studio felt that what he had shot did not have the right air of fantasy about them.
Interesting.
He had also put Judy Garland in a blonde wig, which is very strange to imagine now.
I can't imagine her blonde.
Yeah. So
would look so weird.
Yeah. There are apparently still you can find production stills of what he shot, which I would be curious to see. But that's sort of the most famous thing about him is that he didn't direct a famous movie.
Because that's obviously that would have been huge for him.
But he did. That. He kind of became the guy who did these just the year before this in '52. He does Ivanhoe, which is a similar big medieval epic, also with Robert Taylor playing Ivanhoe. He did Prisoner of Zenda, which is a very famous, swashbuckling adventure movie. He did a lot of these sword and sorcery or medieval action movies, and then kind of he's a journeyman filmmaker, kind of just then moved into, he did do some rom-coms and stuff like that. He did The Honeymoon Machine. Have you seen that one? 1961 Steve McQueen rom-com. One of the few rom-coms that you can find a Steve McQueen in.
I was going to say, I've not seen a Steve McQueen rom-com.
Oh, you might want to check that out then. He directed The Honeymoon Machine.
I can add that to the list.
Yeah, 1960. Yeah.
So always happy to find more older rom-coms to watch.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, he made the Tartars, which was another epic like this. He did direct the Elvis picture Fun in Acapulco. I know your fascination with Elvis movies.
I am very fascinated by Elvis movies. They're so bizarre.
He did a Bobby Darin, Sandra Dee movie. He kind of just, it seemed like he just kind of went wherever the waves were going in studio filmmaking. So, and this is, I would say, like I was saying, this is directed in a way, this looks like all of these. You go and watch this. If you go watch the the Gene Kelly Three Musketeers. It looks like this, you know, which I really like. That Three Musketeers not as Gene Kelly, but it has Vincent Price as Cardinal Richelieu, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, well, that's another one that actually is probably I'll get to before Robin Hood, a Three Musketeers season, because that's a little bit more manageable. And that's an interesting case because in that case, you are dealing with a specific source material. There is a novel, The Three Musketeers.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a couple of them, actually. But yeah, so let's talk about this. I want to talk about the cast next because we've got 3 people who at the time would have been somewhat heavy hitters, and only one of which I would say still has a lot of cultural cachet, which is Ava Gardner, is still remembered as like a big movie star of this era. But you've got Robert Taylor as Lancelot, and he's nominally, you know, the star. This is really a Lancelot movie more than an Arthur movie.
I mean, yeah, he's first billed in this movie.
This is I'm coming off of, once again, he had been Ivanhoe in Ivanhoe. So I mean, this is definitely like, hey, that was a success. Let's repair them in another of that kind of movie.
Yeah, and there's so much more Lancelot in this.
Yeah, and I would say that's not uncommon in some of the movies we'll see. Lancelot tends to be the more interesting character to a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah, I mean, they tend to lean into him a little bit more. I think he's viewed as more complicated.
Right, yeah.
Than Arthur, so people want to lean into that.
I feel like the 2 kinds of movies we're going to see this season, and I haven't seen all of these movies, but from my experience, we're either going to get Arthur origin stories or the Lancelot's main character love triangle movies are going to be probably a lot of what we're going to see this season. Anyway, I don't believe you've ever seen Robert Taylor in anything.
I don't think so. He did not seem familiar.
Yeah, he was a contract player at MGM. It's very funny to think about. He was initially signed as a contract player with a $35 a week salary.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's low.
That's how they worked back then.
Wow.
That was the studio system. They owned you, man.
That's nuts.
I mean, that got you farther, but that's
$35.
He did ascend. That was when he first started. But still, what did you think of Robert Taylor in this movie?
I mean, he's like a lot of actors at that time. He's very just like, I'm here and I'm a man.
He's very stock.
And I'm going to deliver my lines.
Yeah, he
doesn't. I wouldn't say I was like, oh, I really want to watch more movies with him.
No, because I have seen other Robert Taylor movies.
Bad.
But I will say it's always a thing where I'm never like, wow, that's Robert Taylor. It's always like, oh, right, it's Robert Taylor. You know, he just sort of there were like 20 guys. I mean, he kind of is, and we were sort of joking about this. He is sort of a Troy McClure. Like
he is very similar to that. Yeah.
And of course
that voice pattern.
And of course, Troy McClure was named after Troy Donahue and Doug McClure were actors of this era who they combined their names to make him. But
I only know Troy Donahue because of the song in Grease.
Yes.
They sing his name.
Yeah, Troy Donahue was definitely a heartthrob. But Doug McClure. But they were all just sort of guys.
Yeah. Like, they're not bad.
Yeah.
There's nothing that, like, unique about them or makes them stand out.
Similar to, once again, the Prince Valiant movie that we watched in the Pulp season. Robert Wagner was one of these guys, too. Just handsome guy with enough gravitas, but there was a limit, right? You know,
I don't think they could. They had a huge range of roles they could play.
And their careers died out after sort of the studio star system fell apart. You know, a lot of them either like a Wagner went into being a TV guy, or in this case, this guy died. You know.
Oh right, yeah, he did die kind of young.
He died at 57.
That's pretty young.
Lung cancer. He was a noted chain smoker. We did particularly enjoy one piece of trivia from the IMDb, which is about because this movie was shot in England, and his great disdain for British food led to him having steak sent over from New York that he then felt were burned by the British chef at his hotel, and he stormed out of the hotel in a huff about that.
I can't believe someone acting like that and being that rude and like entitled of like, I will have them shipped and I will now scream about them not being cooked properly.
Yeah.
Is just such a bizarre story.
Yeah, this
and I feel like if an actor did that now, it would be like everywhere. And you would be like, oh my God, what an asshole.
Yeah. This was
and
shot.
It would be like a horrible PR story.
This was shot all over England. They shot near Tintagel Castle in Cornwall. They shot in the Ashridge Forests. And then they shot at the MGM British sound stages. Interesting thing about the Ivanhoe thing is that they just redressed the castle set from Ivanhoe to be Camelot.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Save that money.
They would do that as a money saving thing.
Even their
it's
big
Camelot now.
Even their big movies were still about saving money.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta save that money.
Let's talk about Mel Ferrer as Arthur.
Yeah, I mentioned I primarily knew Mel Ferrer as he was married to Audrey Hepburn.
He was from 1954 to 1968. He was married to Audrey Hepburn.
Huge Audrey Hepburn fan.
He did,
and have read books about her, watched documentaries. So I always knew him as, oh, that was Audrey Hepburn's husband for a period of time.
He was a big Broadway guy.
Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
That's how he started, and then I wouldn't say ever, was a working actor, but I would never say became like. Once again, he certainly was popular at the time, but isn't spoken of the way that Audrey Hepburn is, or like when we talk about the great movie stars of this era, people are like, "Oh yeah, Mel Ferrer," but remembered more than Robert Taylor, but not still, and not related. Weirdly, not related to the famous Ferrer family of Jose Ferrer.
No,
and
that is interesting.
Yeah, I had always thought like, oh, he is one of them.
No, he's not. He's his own thing.
And I gotta say, my note, of course, about the three main characters here is they're all just very American.
Yes, it's weird. The accents are all over the place in the movie. Some people are American, and some people are incredibly British.
Well, because you can kind of tell, like the your Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere are all American movie stars who have been brought over to England, and then they clearly cast the rest of the movie locally. So like pretty much everyone else is UK based and has an accent of some sort.
Some thick British accents in there, and then incredibly American actors.
Yeah, just these guys.
And you're like, this is. What are we doing?
Because then we've got Southern Belle, Ava Gardner.
Yeah. She appears.
Yes.
Wait a minute. It's like 30 minutes in before we get to Guinevere.
This movie really is, and you were saying you were a Guinevere fan coming into this.
Mm-hmm.
Not well served by this movie at all.
No, she's not much of a character. She's just kind of there to provide the conflict, but
because
there's not a lot of character development. Even her relationships with both Arthur and Lancelot aren't really developed. It's just sort of like
it's unclear how much Arthur really cares about her, and then she just is.
They have few scenes together.
Yeah. That relationship isn't explored at all.
Their relationship is basically nothing.
And then the Lancelot love for her is just kind of like, oh yeah, like he loves her.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot
it's like, oh, he saw her, she's pretty, he loves her.
Despite the fact he's married to a woman who looks just like her.
I don't know why. They look so similar that it is easy to mix them up.
The Lady Elaine.
They are. Oh, poor Lady Elaine.
You did feel real bad for.
This should really be called
The Tragedy of Lady Elaine.
The Tragedy of Lady Elaine.
Yeah.
Because this poor woman.
Marine Swanson.
So many bad things.
Marine Swanson plays Elaine, a Glasgow, Scotland native.
She's very pretty.
She looks like Ava Gardner.
He looks like, yeah, they have like the same hair, the same skin tone,
Yeah.
similar features. At one point, I thought one was the other one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I thought that was Elaine. Oh wait, no, that's Guinevere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're easy to mix up.
Can I say I love that just looking at her IMDb, I said she's from Glasgow. She was married to William Humble David Ward, 4th Earl of Dudley.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
that sounds made up.
Yeah.
That's such a long name.
They were married for 50 years until she died and had 7 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is uncommon for this
Her whole film career lasts 9 years, from 1952 to 1961. Her whole acting career.
Oh, okay. That was quick.
Her first movie was interesting with Jose Ferrer, was 1952's Moulin Rouge. You ever seen the 1950s Moulin Rouge?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, directed by John Huston with Jose Ferrer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see that.
It's not the same story. It's just another thing set at the Moulin Rouge. But, yeah.
Yeah, but that's an interesting setting for something. And
Yeah. Anyway.
the other Moulin Rouge is hard on my eyes. So.
Well, most Baz Luhrmann stuff is.
The scenes are just changing so fast.
But yeah, the first half hour of the movie, because this thing jumps in immediately. We pull the sword from the stone within the first 5 minutes.
Yep, it's quick. We're just like, oh, we're doing the sword. Okay.
Like, well, it's so...
Merlin moves some bushes, and there it is.
Yeah, they're interesting for a movie that actually, and was, rarer, at least not if you weren't like huge movies like this, that, we're actually in real British locations, but that looks... Then there's other parts of the movie that look so cheap and fake.
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag.
Sometimes
you're like, oh yeah, no, that's not.
And then other times we really are in like the forest of England and by a real castle, and it's always the weird thing about these movies.
Very lovely.
But yeah, we immediately.
And sometimes it's like they're actually. And other times it's like, no, they're riding a fake horse in front of a screen.
There's only one particularly egregious rear projection shot. There's one really bad one in here that I will give credit to Richard Thorpe for not lingering on.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. But I will say immediately we see Arthur pull the sword from the stone, which should be, conceivably the end of it. And of course, as people know, they did do the classic thing of just condensing. They go, Excalibur is the sword and the stone. We don't need to get into Lady of the Lake stuff. No,
this is not getting into any of the Lady in the Lake stuff.
Which is weird because they do shoehorn in the Holy Grail stuff.
The Holy Grail stuff, it kind of comes out of nowhere and doesn't really fit. They don't have the time.
But
get into it, really.
It feels like that playing the hits thing of like, well, people are gonna want to see the Holy Grail if it's a King Arthur movie.
The Holy Grail.
Come on,
so
man.
It's just sort of randomly like, oh, whoa, we're dealing with the Holy Grail.
Yeah, there's just a scene where it's like, I've been looking for this Holy Grail.
Yeah, Percival just is like, I'm here to tell you a story of the Holy Grail.
Let me tell you what I've been up to. It's
pretty much.
And at the end of the movie, they're like, and your son Galahad, he'll find it, Lancelot. Bye. Yeah. It's just sort of
kind
of jammed in here because they're like, yep, well, that's what people want. And that's it. In that, what we just said, we've covered all the Holy Grail stuff in this movie and don't have to talk about it again.
The Holy Grail stuff, yeah.
So
that's all they did.
So the movie immediately, though, he pulls the sword from the stone, which of course means he's going to be the King of England. But of course, immediately, we've got just the biggest sourpuss in this movie. Stanley Baker is Mordred.
And Mordred tried to pull the sword and couldn't. And then immediately when Arthur does is like, this is a mistake and obviously witchcraft.
Yeah. And of course, whispering in his ear the whole time is, I think, your favorite character in the movie. Morgan Le Fay.
I did enjoy Morgan Le Fay in this. Who I did think, because they're mother and son,
mm-hmm.
but they look so similar in age.
Yeah,
they were so similar in age.
She's 7 years older according to the IMDb.
Yeah, that I thought at first they were like siblings or something.
Mm-hmm.
But oh no, that's his mom. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But I did. This Morgan Le Fay liked to like stir the pot, Real Housewives style, and I enjoyed that about her.
Right. She really does. Yeah.
It was fun.
Her big move in this movie is to go like, oh, well, I hear Lancelot's been up to something with Guinevere. If you want to look into that.
Yeah, or like she'll be at a party going like, oh, Guinevere, what's that piece of jewelry? Did Arthur give that to you? When she knows that it's Lancelot.
Yeah.
Like she just goes in there and stirs that pot, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Anne Crawford is the actress who plays Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, she was great.
Yes, she was actually technically born in Palestine, but I think was a British.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she was a British lady. Yeah, her parents were Scottish, but she was technically born in Palestine, which is interesting. She didn't do very much stuff. A lot, that's interesting. This movie, like I said, pulled a lot of clearly like British working actors. I mean, yeah, her career ends in 1956, so she's only acting for another 3 years. Oh, because she died. Wow. Oh no, that makes me sad.
Oh no,
she died of leukemia in 1956 at 35.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
She is, because she definitely makes an impression here.
She does. Like, she has some, like, life and energy.
It's not a well-written
and, like,
part.
so many other... Oh, no. But she's, like, bringing something to it.
Yes, for sure.
And there's so many performances in this that are just sort of like, okay, we're doing the hero thing, and we're doing that. That it was fun to see someone who was like doing something that was a little more fun.
Well, everything is kind of stock, and I think that reads that a lot of that has to do with the stuff we're reacting to about like the lack of passion, and the Lancelot Guinevere stuff is more just like, I love you, Guinevere. And you're just like, okay, there's not a lot of like legitimate chemistry between them. It's all, everything is just so grand and sweeping.
Yeah, I don't know why any of those three main people like.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get the Arthur Lancelot stuff. There's more
because like the first half hour of the movie is setting up the Arthur Lancelot friendship, which makes sense because I mean this is ultimately going to be a story of betrayal, right? Is the tragedy of Arthur. But yeah, they spend a half hour of the movie setting up why those two are friends. And then when it comes to Guinevere, she's just introduced all of a sudden, and Lancelot sees her, and then she's marrying Arthur, and you're just like, "Whoa, okay, we know you."
Yeah, it's fast.
I mean, this movie is the ultimate failure of the Bechdel test, right? Like, she exists only in relation to these two men. Completely.
Yes, there's nothing. There's nothing with her outside of that relationship.
And what does she want? Does she love Arthur or Lancelot?
I don't know.
It kind of seems like not either one, really. I mean, I get a little bit more Lancelot because there's nothing with her and Arthur, but...
There's nothing with her and Arthur because they have so little interaction. Like, we see them at their wedding, and then, like, a little bit at, like, a ball at one point, but they have
you have to. You have to have a ball.
Basically don't talk to each other.
Yeah. It's true.
And yeah, I guess she likes Lancelot, but I don't really know why.
Because when she the whole thing at the end of the movie is she's caught in his home, right? After his wife dies. Yeah. But even still, the movie didn't make me think that they'd been hooking up for a while or something like that.
No, but I think we were supposed to think.
Because
they had something when he
part
was
of the tragedy of Lady Elaine that we talked about is her whole character is just like, look, I know you love Guinevere, but it ain't gonna happen. So I love you, and you have to marry me.
Yeah, she meets him while just laying under a tree.
Well,
I guess hoping a man.
That's one of the interesting things is that he meets Elaine first in the movie.
Oh yeah.
So
well before.
It's really weird that because when she showed up, I thought, because once again she looked enough like Ava Gardner, at least for a second, I thought, oh, here's the introduction of Guinevere, which would make sense, like right up front.
I also thought that was Guinevere,
because
that eventually they'd be like, oh, what's your name, and she would say Guinevere.
Elaine is introduced in a way that makes you think, oh, this must be the main love interest.
100%. And there's a long sequence of her with Lancelot, and then she's there when Lancelot and Arthur meet.
Right. Which also would have
you would think,
been a nice
this
way
is when they would all meet.
That also would be a nice way to establish a love triangle if it's like, oh, she meets Lancelot, and it's like, oh, here's this handsome guy, but then, oh, here comes Arthur, and he's interested in her, and then we can start building these dynamics. But no, instead we get a long stretch of... And then she disappears for a while so that we can build the Arthur-Lancelot stuff. And then, yeah, just out of nowhere, the introduction of Guinevere is her wanting Lancelot to fight a guy for her. And he does it, and she's like, that's awesome. Yeah,
because he has to go pick her up from the castle she's trapped in? I guess?
Yeah, that's an interesting... Yeah.
Because she's going to marry Arthur. They're like, Arthur's got to get married. He's going to marry Princess Guinevere.
Yeah.
But she's like being held at this castle?
By kind of an unexplained bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand that. And so, yeah, Lancelot
even the Wikipedia,
fights the knight.
Even the Wikipedia plot description just says she's held by an evil knight. I mean, that really is it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, did I miss something? I don't think so.
Yeah, she's stuck in a tower, like Rapunzel style.
It's very Rapunzel-y, yeah.
With her, like, maid.
Mm-hmm.
And Lancelot, fights the knight.
But what's weird about that is later, when they're at the wedding, he seems surprised that she's the bride.
That is odd, because he says, like, where are you going? And she says, I have to go to
the wedding
King
of
Arthur's wedding.
Yeah. She doesn't say, I mean, look, I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, but that is a weird way to phrase that.
She did phrase it in a way that made it sound like she was just attending it, that it was not her wedding.
And, of course, also at this point... And I don't know if
that's because...
That's right.
I'm, like, flirting with him.
Because at this point, Arthur and Lancelot are fighting because Lancelot is upset that... because the whole beginning of the movie is Mordred fighting for the throne, and they end up defeating his army. And Lancelot is pissed at Arthur for not killing Mordred to make a point.
Killing him or banishing him.
They basically just is like, we're going to let this slide.
He basically takes it like, well, he apologized.
I think, Arthur is very interested in being seen as a merciful leader, right? I think is the whole point of that. And
yes.
And Lancelot is like, this guy's an asshole. Which he is.
He's been an asshole the whole time.
I mean, and one could argue,
him
of course.
His mom have just been causing trouble.
And it is obviously part of the story that will be Arthur's undoing. The La Mort de Arthur is about Morgan Le Fay and Mordred and stuff like that. But so the thing about that is the reason he doesn't take her to the castle is because he's like, well, if you're going to Arthur's wedding, that guy and I are fighting, so you're on your own, lady. But then,
then he has the knight that he defeated. He was like, hey, I'm gonna kill you if you don't get her and her maid safely to Arthur's castle.
Weird move, man.
It was odd to be like this knight that's been keeping her in this tower.
Yeah.
Or making sure no one can get her in the tower.
Yeah, but they keep it so vague that you're like, well, how bad is what he's doing in there? I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, he does, I guess, what he promises and gets her to King Arthur. So.
And then Lancelot does show up in Camelot, and he's like, oh, you were the one marrying Arthur.
Yes, he's surprised to see Guinevere, and they're like, oh, we've met.
But then, as we talk about, for the rest of the movie, it's so many scenes of Lancelot and Guinevere, and basically nothing of Arthur and Guinevere.
No, I don't know where Arthur is. Is he in the castle? Is he somewhere else? Because, I mean, they are openly
Yeah, there's several times.
Flirting, touching each other.
Like,
just sitting in, like, the castle yard.
Well, it is an interesting thing where it's like, really,
It's
how
very
much,
weird.
gossiping did Morgan Le Fay have to do? It's pretty much out in the open.
It wasn't, I don't think, hard for her to get this information to Arthur, because everybody, I mean, Merlin was seeing it. Everyone saw it.
Oh, we need to talk about Merlin in this movie, because this is one of the most uninteresting Merlins. Felix Aylmer is Merlin in this.
It's a laid-back Merlin.
He's a real harumphing. Well, I don't know about this author. He was also in Ivanhoe with this same.
Oh, okay.
And this will make a lot of sense, I feel like, if you know the play. He plays Polonius in Laurence Olivier's Hamlet, who is the long-winded, harumphing old man.
That makes sense. Because that is what his Merlin is.
He also plays Peter Cushing's father in the 1959 Hammer, The Mummy, which is a movie I love.
Oh, so you would know him from that.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him from this because that's not like a major part, but yeah. This guy was a veteran British character actor, and I don't necessarily think the part is written very. Number one, he does no magic. This will be an interesting thing to look at over these. The approach to Arthur is always so interesting because sometimes it's medieval adventure and sometimes it's medieval fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm. This does not have magic.
Not at all. It's purely a knights and sword movie. It's not a sword and sorcery movie. It's just a sword movie. So that's sort of, when you remove the magic from Merlin, it is just kind of like, what's this guy doing?
He doesn't really have much to do.
No.
I mean, he gives some speeches, he has information to deliver, but I don't know.
Well, because he's the advisor to...
I mean, he looks like how you think Merlin would
Definitely.
Look. He's got his long beard and stuff.
But the thing about it is he's the main advisor and sort of mentor or wise figure to Arthur. But by making Arthur not really the main character, then Merlin doesn't really have anything to do.
No, I mean, he's kind of around to be like, he's noticing what Mordred and Morgan Le Fay are up to.
This might be bad.
Like, all the characters, they're not that subtle with what they're up to. They kind of openly talk about what they're up to.
I mean,
so he's just sort of there to be like, he sees through it and he knows what's up.
That's the thing about it too, right? With the whole thing about Lancelot being upset that he didn't get punished for, fighting a war for control of the throne, is like he kind of never stops plotting against Arthur ever. He and Morgan Le Fay.
No. Oh no.
So
they're like walking around the castle plotting things.
Arthur's too worried about, and I know I was going to say, I know you're going to want to talk about this because he's too worried about keeping his fake beard glued on.
Oh, the beard. It's one of the worst beards I've seen.
They put this fake beard.
It's so fake.
They glued this fake beard to Mel Ferrer, and particularly anytime there's a remotely close shot of him, it is the fakest looking, like, high school play. I don't know if were they trying to make him seem older or something. I don't know, number one, either why you wouldn't have him grow a beard, or what does it matter also if he just doesn't have a beard.
I don't know. They also put fake eyebrows on.
Yeah, they really did, and it really makes his face look weird. It's a strange
I don't know
choice.
If they were going for the making him seem older thing, but there's some close-ups of him, and you're like, oh wow, that is a fake beard. Like, pull back. Because we are too close to that.
I can't find anything. I mean, there's not a ton of information about the making of this movie, but I can't find anything that indicates why they did that. Nothing like that was.
Yeah, it's an odd decision. He didn't need it.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't know why he had to have a beard.
No, I don't know either. I think just to separate him from Lancelot more, because Lancelot kind of has like a Van Dyke. Is what I would describe his facial hair as, which is very, once again, like swashbuckling hero. This is the kind of facial hair that Errol Flynn has and everything.
Oh yeah, he 100% has that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if they were trying to make him seem younger and cooler, and Arthur's a little older and wiser, or what they were going for there.
It's a weird choice. I did say that I think it's very interesting to think that James Mason was the first choice to play Mordred in this, because that would have made.
Oh right.
I think that would have made. I mean, let me see. I think that would have made Morgan Le Fay younger than Mordred, because James Mason would have been an established
even weirder
movie star at this point. You know, yeah. Because let's see, she was born in 1920, and I have to imagine that's about when. I mean, they may have been the same age. Where's people love when I Google stuff on the show. It makes for great podcasting.
We gotta know this.
Yeah.
We gotta know the ages.
He was 11 years older. He was born in 1909, so he would have been.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he would have been 11 years older than the woman playing Morgan Le Fay. I don't know if they would have cast somebody else, right? Like had they. Because even this guy was a last-minute replacement for George Sanders, was supposed to be the guy playing Mordred, but he got sick and couldn't do it. And George Sanders was also not a super young guy. Yeah, he's even older than Mason, so I have no idea.
This is bizarre. What were they doing with this character?
I don't know.
It is interesting to me that Mordred being the main villain isn't another like, oh, you all know that guy, like actor that they didn't also try and go with a bigger name there.
They did, right? And that's the thing about it is Mason didn't want to do it, and then Sanders got sick, and you're probably not super familiar with George Sanders, but he would have been a noted character actor of the time.
Yeah, because it's interesting that it's not that.
It's this guy.
And I guess it's just because things kept happening.
Stanley, yeah. Although I think it's very interesting that, once again, the next year, James Mason will essentially play the same part in Prince Valiant, as the bad guy who doesn't want Prince Valiant to be. And, of course, Prince Valiant, I don't know how much you know about Prince Valiant, but Prince Valiant takes place in the world of King Arthur. So it's still Arthurian.
Did he see this and go like, ah,
damn it, I should have taken that. Oh, Christ.
And then it came back around.
Let's see what did James Mason do in 1953 instead of this? There's a good question for you.
I
mean, when he wasn't at the bar, obviously. I like the cocktail too, young fellow.
He was not alone in that.
He did a few movies, and he did The Desert Rats, which is a war picture. He did Julius Caesar. That'd probably be the big one.
Okay.
With Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Him and Brando and John Gielgud did. He played. Oh, that is a better. He played Brutus and Julius Caesar. That is a better part.
That is a better part.
Good call, Mason.
I can understand. I can understand that one.
Excuse me, I have to go. I have to go make my Shakespeare film. Yes.
Well, you got to make a Shakespeare film.
Yeah. Of course, James Mason, the best. I'm a huge James Mason fan. I would have loved if he had been in this, because it just would have been exciting to see James Mason in it. But alas, he was not.
Yeah. Mordred is not a particularly.
No, I mean he's just, at least as written in this movie, he's just sort of always off to the side, going, I don't know why he's king and not me.
He's just pouting.
Yeah.
In the corner of scenes. The guy does have a good
Stanley Baker.
Sort of annoyed thing. But. Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot to do other than complain.
He had a long career of just being in stuff. You know, he's in the Gregory Peck Captain Horatio Hornblower movie, which I really like, which was another Technicolor swashbuckling epic. Once again, I mean, these were really the thing. These were big. If it wasn't this, it was westerns, musicals, and like swashbucklers. He's in The Guns of Navarone, which was one of my favorite movies, also with Gregory Peck. Interestingly,
I mean, this movie's not a musical, but it does have more singing than I was expecting it to.
There's a lot of that medieval thing, which we'll see parodied when we do Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the like accompanying songs with the knights, brave, brave Sir Robin, that kind of stuff. And a lot of
it's a lot of
and...
when Lancelot is traveling around, he's usually singing with the men he's traveling with.
Yeah, there's a lot of off we go on an adventure. Here we go. There's a ball where they do a medieval dance. I mean, they just sort of things. And it's
medieval dance.
It's a thing I've heard a lot of people say, and it's true. It's becoming less true as we go forward in time here in film. But it used to be that people, if they went to the movies, wanted movies to be everything. Right? It was just like a movie. We're going to go out and we're going to see a movie. It better have some action. It better have some romance. It better have some comedy. It better have some songs. Like, it was just, and you look at a lot of old movies like that where you're like, why are they singing? And you're just like, because that, you had to. Like, every movie just had a song. Even if it's like a lot of the old noirs that I love, there'll just be a scene where they go to a club and you just watch somebody sing a song on stage. And you're like, what the hell was the point of that? It just has to be.
Obviously, I've watched like a lot of like Doris Day movies, and in a lot of them, she will just sing a song. It's not a musical, but she's gonna
because you have Doris Day, you're gonna sing a song. I love the stuff that I said, like the ones where it's just like that wasn't even a character. They're just our characters are just watching someone sing. We talked about Doris Day and The Man Who Knew Too Much randomly sings. In that Hitchcock thriller.
That's the one that feels the most out of place of why are we watching her sing a whole number in this Hitchcock movie. Yeah. In the rom-coms, I was like, oh, okay, it can kind of fit. That one I was like, ooh, this does not quite fit here.
No, because the movie is fairly realistic and, the stakes are life or death.
The stakes are far higher in that than, pillow talk.
A little bit, yeah. I don't remember anybody having any, nobody was trying to kill Rock Hudson in Pillow Talk.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you should rewatch Pillow Talk. Because maybe that happened.
There's that scene where they try to gun him down in Pillow Talk.
It gets intense.
Let's also talk about how a great example of how, because of course once the betrayal is discovered, that once again that Guinevere was just talking to Lancelot.
Well, I also found it odd that Guinevere snuck to Lancelot's little area,
abode.
In a bright red cloak.
Well, yeah, this is the thing about the Technicolor is everyone in this movie is constantly wearing just the most bright and vivid colors.
Like, of course you got caught, because you were very easy to spot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so...
Your bright red cloak.
But once again, the whole thing here is that they should be, the law would dictate that they both be executed for this, but instead he banishes Lancelot from Camelot, and he sends Guinevere to a nunnery.
Sends Guinevere to a nunnery. Well, the other knights vote to kill Lancelot.
That's right. We do get a trial. The titular knights.
And Guinevere?
Yes. Oh, yes. They vote to kill both of them. Because
to kill both of them.
That's an interesting thing. This movie is called Knights of the Round Table, but this movie could care less about anyone. I think Percival gets the most of anyone other than Arthur and Lancelot, but that's really only because he's Elaine's brother.
Yeah, that's why he gets more. Yeah, he's definitely the one we see the most because he will interact with Lancelot because he's visiting his sister or bringing his sister to court.
Like when you get to Gareth,
the other knights,
Gareth and Gawain are just around. Yeah, it's like take a look at the cast. You tell me which ones are Gareth and Gawain. They're just.
I don't know which was which.
They're not around.
They're just around.
Yeah, there's like, I'm sure real hardcore fans are also like, there's a bunch missing. There's a bunch of known Knights of the Round Table who just aren't in the movie.
Oh yeah, if you were looking to actually get a movie about the Knights of the Round Table. This is not it.
No, but it's called.
Don't watch this.
But it's called Knights of the Round Table. That's what's so strange.
Oh yeah, the title doesn't make sense because it doesn't fit.
It should
this at all.
It
I mean, there's
be
a
called,
round table.
Yeah.
There are knights, but they are not.
One of the things I really liked at the round table is that they all have nameplates on their chairs.
Oh yeah, the chairs are super fancy.
They have these super fancy chairs, and all of them are labeled. And it's here's where Lancelot sits. Here's where Gawain sits.
Time.
Yeah, especially back then. I mean, this is the 15th century or whatever, and
and these knights are harsh. They are like kill both of them.
But also part of that is part of the problem with the movie is just like, I don't know these guys well enough to know that they're so quick to turn on Lancelot, but they're not really characters.
Yeah.
But of course, Arthur.
So it doesn't feel like, is this out of character? Is this in character? Like I don't know. It felt harsh based on what had happened, that they would be like death. Like,
but of course, Arthur.
I didn't realize that could happen.
Arthur, as we said, gives them lighter punishments that causes enough of that decision causes enough of an uproar that Mordred is able to move against him and pull a coup.
Well, because again, the knights quick to go, damn you, Arthur, you are so weak.
Yeah.
You're just a weak man.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to us. I guess you don't care what we think.
It does.
They all hate them.
It does seem to they just immediately turn. They're like, hey, yeah. And then
like, what's the point of us anyways if you're not even going to listen to us?
The greatest example to me of this movie not caring about Arthur is that he is mortally wounded off screen.
That was odd.
Yeah.
That was really surprising.
A battle we don't see happens.
All these multiple battle sequences, and we see a little bit of this battle sequence, and then it just cuts to
Arthur
I guess he got injured.
Is down and dying, and they bring Lancelot to his side so he can be like, I forgive you, my brother. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. He forgives Lancelot.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
Yeah, it's
and
very
you're like, oh, that didn't really
it's very
feel...
sad, I guess. It's allegedly very sad.
I'm sad watching other things when Arthur dies.
Of course. It's
not this one.
It's meant to be a tragedy. Like, I mean, right? King Arthur is sort of at its core a tragedy.
But this one didn't. This one didn't feel that way. This one was just like, oh, okay, I guess he's dead now.
Yeah, well, because it's just, and we don't even see it happen.
I guess Lancelot's forgiven. Okay.
Yeah, he forgives Lancelot only so Lancelot can then go and kick Mordred's ass, right?
Well, yeah, we gotta get rid of Mordred. I didn't talk about earlier. I did really enjoy Mordred in like his first battle with Arthur.
Oh yeah.
That he just, to try to end it, just holds up a head on a stick and goes, we killed Arthur. Look, here's his head. He's dead. And then Arthur's just like, no, I'm not. I'm right here. And he's like, damn.
Immediately, Arthur's just like, actually, I'm right here, right next to you. And he's just like, shut.
I love that as a plan that Mordred had. He's like, what if I just show them a head and say it's Arthur and they'll all believe it? And then he's like, shit, didn't work.
Oh.
Damn it. It was such a good plan. I've never seen someone attempt that plan. And I love that he thought it would work. And then just immediately was like, nope.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
what a plan he had there.
Yeah, that didn't work. And when push comes to shove, Lancelot ends up killing him at the end in a one-on-one duel.
Yeah.
To the death.
Is that he does go and tell Guinevere that he died.
Yes. We see Guinevere at the nunnery.
Guinevere's now
she's a nun.
A nun.
Yeah. Her punishment was to go be a nun. I don't know if that's from other things. It might be. I am not anywhere close to a scholar of Arthurian legend. In fact, let me look. I think I have Lamort d'Arthur here, though. I have a Wikipedia entry on it. Let's see if they say the
poor women of this film. Elaine dies. Guinevere is now a nun.
Yeah.
Ugh. Not going well for the ladies.
Let's see here. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this.
I mean, she did get like a cooler all white nun outfit. Because I guess
that's
she's
right. Yeah.
a little fancier than the other nuns.
Well, she was the queen at one point, so it's. I don't know. I'm not gonna seek. This is. Oh man, I mean, I will say.
Maybe too.
I will say, just on cursory glance, Lamort d'Arthur is so much harsher than this movie. Yeah. It's yeah. Because like in this, Elaine very conveniently dies, so he could in Lamort d'Arthur, he's just like fuck off, and takes up with
geez.
Guinevere. Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a Technicolor spectacle. We can't be doing that.
No, I do just think though,
people are here to have a little bit of fun.
So much of the marketing campaign for this movie, looking at the posters and stuff, and a lot of the like production stills. So this was back in the day when they had lobby cards. Oh, I miss lobby cards. When they would put out little collectible cards, in that you could take with you of stills from the movie.
You would be grabbing those.
Yeah.
I would have a whole collection of lobby cards if you could.
Yeah, I got to say, shout out to the great folks at Arrow Video, because in their collector's editions of like old movies, they'll often include reproductions of the lobby cards. So I have a lot of, like, I have the Flash.
That's cool.
I have the Flash Gordon lobby cards and stuff like that. I love them. They do that.
Yeah, that's a fun little thing to do. That's pretty clever.
But they do a lot of great stuff. They're a fine company over there at Arrow.
You trying to get sponsored by
I would love to be sponsored by Arrow, or Vinegar Syndrome, or any 88 Films, any of the boutique Blu-ray Shout Factory, any of those companies. I've God knows I've given them enough money. But
you've given them a lot.
Yeah. This, by the way, we watched this in standard definition. They are doing a new high def Blu-ray release of this movie from Warner Archive. So if you want a nice version of this, I don't personally, but it will be available from the great folks at the Warner Archive. Which I will say, they are doing good work over there preserving old movies.
That's nice. I mean, if you like horses wearing very colorful outfits, then you should get that. Because there's a lot of horses in this movie, and they're all wearing fancy outfits.
I mean,
it's the best dressed horses.
That's further part of the Technicolor spectacle of this, right? It is just bright and vivid, and on a big widescreen canvas. I mean, it's a good looking movie, but I would say, I would rather watch The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn. If I'm looking for that kind of, not CinemaScope maybe, but that is vivid, bright, swashbuckler.
It's a fairly slow movie. It's not very thrilling. I wouldn't say most people would be.
No, it's aged. It's of its time. Sometimes you can. There are times. There are a handful of these that still hold up. But I would say a lot of them. This is like, oh, there's a couple of cool moments or a couple of interesting spectacles, but there's a lot of downtime in these old epics. People were just used to a slower pace of movie. So
they definitely were.
And I can get into that sometimes, but this is tougher for me to get into than, crime movies or even like screwball comedies of the era.
Well, I think this one was tough just because I didn't feel any connection to any of these characters or really care about any of these characters, and so it just sort of felt like there's no like momentum, because I'm just like, I just don't.
Everyone is very.
There's nothing here character-wise.
And I think to that point, the thing I was going on to about the posters and the lobby cards and stuff was that so much of it is like Robert Taylor embracing Ava Gardner, and I was saying, if you were going for the romance of this does not deliver at all on that.
No, I mean, even that, there's not a ton of it.
No.
And they don't particularly have amazing chemistry or anything
they
like that.
They were very much obviously promoting this as like a date film, right? Where it's like the men come for the thrilling action, the women, oh, the swooning romance, and you're just like,
right.
Nah, it doesn't deliver on that. It just
no.
Yeah.
I would not describe it as a swoon-worthy romance.
Yeah.
It doesn't get it fails at that.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you like battle sequences, there are some battle sequences.
Yeah, but there's nothing here once again that wouldn't be better. That aren't done better in some of the other, epics of this era. I think Ivanhoe is even a better movie than this. Even though it's very, very similar. But yeah, I mean, because I would say the biggest problem with this is it's just very stock. They made a lot of movies like this in this time. I said we did that episode about Prince Valiant before. It's very similar to this movie. If you were to watch it, you would have the exact same feelings about it. It really, yeah. I mean, Robert Wagner has a very similar vibe, except for he's wearing just the worst wig I've ever seen committed to film.
Oh, I have seen the wig
because they have to give because in that case they're making a comic, right? So they are trying to get the page boy haircut that he had on the comics page.
It's not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look
It's not
right.
a good look on an actual person.
No, it really looks weird.
No one,
and it's just
shouldn't get that haircut.
It's also just clearly a wig. Like it's just that's no one's hair. Yeah. So that but yeah, they're all just a little. There are a handful that I do enjoy, but a lot of them are pretty slow, and that's the problem here. Let's talk about how this movie did, though. As always, on the IP Squad, we're going to look at the box office of the year it came out, 1953. As I said, this was a big year in film because this is the introduction of CinemaScopes. This is the first time you're really getting big widescreen movies. Now, normally when I do this, I'm talking about more modern movies, so I would have the top 200 films highest grossing. But instead, what I have here is the top 10 movies of 1953, of which Knights of the Round Table is amongst them. I'd like to ask you, based on no information, to try to guess where it landed in the top 10. It made, and keep in mind, it's 1953 money, right? So it made $4.5 million.
Okay, I don't know, like fifth? Was it like middle?
Actually, it's 10th. It is 10th.
Oh, it's dead last of the top 10.
Of the top 10. I mean, it was still a hit of the year.
Good.
Yeah.
To be in the top 10.
Can I say that to say what you would have been seeing in 1953? It didn't crack the top 10, but William Wyler's Roman Holiday was released in 1953 as well.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
which I know
that's one of my favorites.
You're a huge fan of, and actually, Audrey Hepburn, of course, won Best Actress for that year.
She did win the Academy Award for that.
Yep.
I have a picture from that of her and Gregory Peck dancing
at the Academy Awards. Oh no, from Roman Holiday.
No, in the movie.
Right,
I have a
right.
framed picture of them dancing.
But let me run through. I'll give you what else was on the list, and I think it's an interesting snapshot. The number one movie of the year, making a whopping $17.5 million, was The Robe. Have you ever heard of The Robe?
The Robe?
The Robe.
No, I've never heard of The Robe.
As in Karl Robe. No. If you know, you know. This was a biblical epic, which is another kind of adjacent to this kind of movie. This was also definitely the heyday of the biblical epic, starring Richard Burton, and this was the first promoted as the first motion picture in CinemaScope. And it is the story of the Roman military tribunal that commands the unit responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus. I've never seen it. I think it's not that long. It's 2 hours 15, but it's just not going to be my thing. But it was huge.
No.
Huge hit.
Well, and clearly, CinemaScope CinemaScope was a draw if
Yep.
it made that much as the first one that people were like, whoa, we got to go check out what that looks
like. Well,
like.
because CinemaScope, of course, was also a big thing where we need to, what are we offering? The TV is coming in at this point. And so this whole idea of, it's very interesting to talk about it in that people talk about this a lot because it's a similar conversation happening with streaming now, right? People are going like, oh my God, the movie theater industry is going to die because people can just stay at home and watch stuff. And so the whole idea of creating these widescreen spectacles was we need to find something they can't get at home. So, we Technicolor, vivid color, because we only have black and white TV at this point, and huge screens.
I mean, like we have with IMAX now. Like, you gotta go see it.
Yeah,
in the theater in IMAX.
Yeah, they tried with 3D, but that didn't take off. So they're going with
3D didn't really take off. I guess now they have the theaters where the seats move.
Yeah, is
that a draw?
4DX. I don't think that's really taken off. Same thing with Screen X. With the Screen X with the expanded. I don't. IMAX they have successfully made like a thing that at least for
sure.
And you see that promoted the most of them, right? Is see it in IMAX, shot with IMAX cameras.
Easily.
I would say that's closer to modern CinemaScope. All right, so here are the other. Now, if you were looking for a more epic romance, the From Here to Eternity was in second place.
Okay. Yeah.
Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr and Frank Sinatra. One of my favorites at number 3, George Stephen's Shane, an amazing Western. I
only know that because our dad says Shane a lot.
Yeah.
In
doing an impression of the of Brandon DeWilde, the child actor from Shane. Shane's a great movie, though. And then at number 4, How to Marry a Millionaire. Have you seen that? That seems very up your alley.
I have seen How to Marry a Millionaire.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
With Marilyn Monroe and Lauren Bacall. And then in 5th place, Walt Disney's Peter Pan.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that came out.
Yeah, 1953, Peter
That's
Pan.
A fun one.
So there you go. That was your top 5 of 1953. And I said, Knights of the Round Table, respectable. It was tied with Mogambo, which was an adventure epic with Clark Gable and also Ava Gardner. So you could do that back then.
2 big movies.
Yeah, I mean back then it was you worked for the studio, so when you finished a movie, it wasn't like let me pick my next project. They just went, now you're on this movie.
I mean that must have just been exhausting.
It was basically like
my goodness.
Back then, being an actor was just a job. You went to the studio and whatever you were filming, right? Like. It almost didn't, matter.
Yeah, but that's so strange that it was just like, here you go, here's your next thing. Like you don't.
Yeah, no. There was
just go to the next thing.
I mean,
wow.
There were bigger name people who had maybe a little bit more clout, but for the most part, no. And if you wanted to go make a movie at another studio, you had to negotiate a deal. The studios would have to negotiate a deal to send somebody, okay, we'll loan you out, but then you have to let one of your people make a movie. There was lots of that. It was very strange. That
is complicated.
It's always a thing I think about when people talk about like how much better film was at that time. You're like, yeah, but like everybody was getting screwed over big time. I'm not saying it's perfect now, but like back then you were the property of a studio. So.
Well, I mean, that idea of like you would get loaned out to another studio.
We own them. We own Humphrey. Warner Brothers own Humphrey Bogart.
What they're going to give us for them is bizarre to think about.
Yeah. Let's talk quickly. We'll finish up as we always do with a segment on the show called Highs and Lows. This is a segment where I pick one low rated IMDb review and one high rated IMDb review, and I'll read those to you. Okay. So this comes to us from, I gotta say, I love, I rarely do I even understand people's names on IMDb, but I love
that makes sense.
But I love this person's IMDb handle. This comes to us from Arch Vandelay Importer Exporter.
Oh wow,
that's the best.
Yeah, that's aimed.
It's not
right
me.
At you,
and it's not me. That's not my name on here, which is crazy.
That is shocking. You would be that.
All right.
That's pretty great.
Art Vandelay starts. The title of the review, Styrofoam Stonehenge. Hollywood takes a lot of liberties with science and history. But come on! Robert Taylor helps Arthur escape some adversaries by pushing over one of the pillars at Stonehenge. Average weight 25 tons. They all prance around in heavily plated knight's armor, which wasn't invented until several hundred years after the legend of Arthur was birthed. And on it goes, making American moviegoers dumber by the minute. The photography is entirely inept. Half the time the lens captures more sky than men and horses, as if the camera operators were lying on the ground. Not that there was much action to capture. The battle scenes are as lame as the medieval recreations they stage at your local county fair. I don't even know if this movie would excite your average D&D nerdo. 2 out of 10 stars.
Whoa. Wow, 2? I would...
I know.
How did that not lead
I
to
couldn't
a
find...
1?
Normally I do a 1 and a 10. That was actually... I couldn't find any 1s, so... But that felt like a 1 star.
For how angry that person was, I'm shocked it got it 2. Wow, that person was not happy with this movie.
No.
The county fair.
How about Dungeons and Dragons? D&D nerdos. Woo! Woo! Good thing Mike Ergoni wasn't here on this. Yeah, that does feel unnecessary.
Why? Yeah, you don't need to take a shot at people who play Dungeons and Dragons.
Most of the hosts of this show do. So anyway,
I forgot about the part with where he pushed over the stone
to distract
thing.
everybody.
And he's like kind of pushing it for a while, and it's just wobbling, and
there's a whole moment of Lancelot realizing how light it is, right? Like he's like, hey, I think I could. Oh, hey, here's my opportunity. Let me push over Stonehenge. Whatever.
I didn't notice the camera capturing more sky.
That didn't
horses.
That didn't stand out to me either. I'm not going to say that may not be true,
No.
but I didn't notice that as a huge problem.
Could be. I didn't notice that, but yeah, that person was
very upset.
They have a very strong opinion about King Arthur.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from somebody who has a higher opinion of it. This comes to us from Squire85. Title of the review: All Hail Arthur. While not as mature in terms of the griminess of the war-torn era of ancient Britannia as Excalibur, Knights of the Round Table still captured the heroic spirit and pageantry one would find within Arthurian lore. The costumes, the actors' performances, the atmosphere, and the music all embody a medieval tale rather well. My one qualm with the movie is the fact that the battles do not show off the carnage one would find in a medieval setting. I got to jump out of the review for a second there. It is 1953, buddy. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to show the carnage.
Oh, I mean, it does continue on here, but I suppose it's to be expected for a film made in the 50s. I don't think they were permitted to show bloody battles on screen back then. Regardless, this film stands within my trinity of Arthurian films. The first, Excalibur. The second would be this film, and the third is the Sword in the Stone. 10 out of 10 stars. There you go. Fortuitous that he said that, because next week we'll be talking about 1963's The Sword in the Stone from Walt Disney.
Oh man, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, me neither. That's
probably
not
since
one
I was a kid.
Put on a lot, but yeah, I remember really liking it as a kid as well. Yeah. So a different approach. We're gonna jump 10 years, and things are gonna. I believe it's our only animated movie. In fact, I'm certain it is. Because once again, people might go, what about Quest for Camelot? That is not actually about Arthur, movie. So we're not covering that. So Sword in the Stone will be next week. But of course, if you want to hear more from us, you want to head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's PunchUpENT. Get co-exclusive bonus content as well as help support all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. It is greatly appreciated. We love our patrons. And, of course, the best way to check us out is also on YouTube, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you get video versions of some of our shows and some more exclusive content. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. Kinsey, thank you for joining us here. You're going to be with us for the next several weeks here as we follow the cinematic adventures of Arthur and Lancelot and Guinevere. Across this is going to be interesting because we're going to be across a whole bunch of different kinds of movies, different genres, even different mediums, like I said, with animation next week, and some stuff I've never even heard of, some of these, so oh,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, some not American-produced movies as well, or British. I mean, some foreign language ones. So this should be interesting. We'll see what happens. But it's going to do it for this episode. Until next week, the case file is closed.